welcome back to my channel. I'm Sussex Sandra, and today I am going to be doing an all-day wear test of a foundation that I purchased recently by the Women of Colour Cosmetics London, and the foundation is called the Flawless Filter. I did a first impression over the weekend. It's this foundation here. It's a medium to full coverage foundation. I've got it in the shade 160, and today I'm going to be doing my first all-day wear test to see how the foundation manages on extremely oily skin. So those of you who are watching my channel for the first time, welcome and hello. So I am a woman in my late 40s. I have got very oily skin. I tend to break out within an hour, 2 hours when it comes to oil, especially in weather like we have at the moment in Britain, which is very warm. It's in the mid-20s, I think it's going to be today, so I do expect my skin to become very oily under normal circumstances. So I'm going to be testing out this foundation. What I would like from it is to be able to control my oil for at least 4 hours, but preferably for much longer. If I can, I will try and do a midday update, but it's not always possible. It depends on what I'm doing. This is the primer I've put on, by the way. It's the primer I always wear when I'm testing out a foundation. It's the Becca Evermatte Poreless Primer. So I intend on sort of giving the foundation a really good test out today. So as you can see, I just put on my primer, which was the Becca Evermatte Primer. That's the foundation I always wear when I'm testing out a new foundation. I'm now just going to put on a little bit of concealer. When I tested the foundation out over the weekend, I didn't wear a concealer, just the primer, and it gave me what I would consider medium coverage. Ooh, it's actually very warm today. I'm already starting to sweat, so this is sweat rather than oil. So today I am actually going to put on some concealer, which is what I normally do, to be honest. So I'm just going to put some concealer on now, and I'm going to put a little bit of colour corrector as well. The coverage I got over the weekend when I was testing the foundation was, I would consider, medium coverage. So I'd like to see if I can get medium to full coverage, because that is actually what I prefer. I was saying I had medium to full on my lower part of my face. It was very much medium coverage. I didn't get the coverage I wanted on my forehead. I'm just going to put a little bit of colour correcting on. So I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the colour Orange, just to balance out the lower half of my face, which tends to be a bit darker in colouring. So let's just put a little bit on there. Put a little bit on my eyes as well. So the hope today is to wear the foundation for at least 6 hours. I would like preferably to do about 8 hours if I can. Not sure what the time is yet. It's not 9 o'clock yet, but it must be approaching that time fairly quickly. But when I've applied the foundation, I will do a time check-in so we know what time the foundation was applied. Cool dear, it's very warm. And I haven't got my fan in my bedroom at all today, so forgive all this. Right, I was hoping the primer would get a chance to set a bit better. Right, what I also do as well, I normally always put on a light coverage of powder as well. So I'm literally just going to do what I normally do when I apply foundation. So just going to do a very light coverage of foundation. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So just put a little bit here. Please forgive the noises you can hear outside. You might hear a little bit of drilling and squeaking and scraping. There's some work going on outside my house at the moment. No idea what's going on, but I'm surprised they started so early. They normally don't start work until 8 o'clock. Officially, you're not really allowed to make lots of noise until 8 o'clock in the morning, and they literally started bang on 8 o'clock with the banging and drilling. So we might get some drilling noises in the background here, so apologies for that. Okay, so that's that. Right, so today what I'm going to try and do is see if using a beauty blender makes a difference in the application of the foundation. If it doesn't make a difference, then I'll just go back to using my foundation brush. So this is the foundation, as I said. For those of you who haven't seen the previous video, I'll link it up above. But it's a foundation that was promoted on Instagram, and it's by a black owned company based here in England. They seem to be based in London. I purchased it from, I'm not sure who she was, I'm assuming she might be one of the owners or someone who's got some stake in the company. I conversed with her via Instagram, and I purchased the foundation. She sent it to me by Royal Mail. Actually, yeah, I'm getting better coverage using the beauty blender, so that's good. So yeah, she sent it to me via Royal Mail, and I got it within 2 to 3 days. I did my first impression on Saturday. Today is Monday, and as I said, when I did the first impression, I got what I would call a good medium coverage. So, and that was using a flat top kabuki brush. So today I'm using the beauty blender, and hopefully I can get better coverage, and I can already see that this is a better coverage already. I used 3 to 4 pumps on Saturday when I applied it. So far I've done 1 pump, so I'm just going to do another pump now. Sorry about my beauty blender, it's a bit crappy condition, but hey, that's life. I should have got a clean one out for the video, but I didn't. I just grabbed the nearest one I could find. But yeah, I'm already happier with how it looks at the moment, so that's good. In my job, I normally do carry out inspections in very hot kitchens. Today, I shouldn't be, because the plan is that I've got a couple of meetings, and they're going to be long meetings today, and then I'll be back in my office. Now, in England, we're not very good when it comes to air-conditioned buildings, because we don't normally suffer from very hot weather, so air conditioning is not normally a requirement for us. But today is going to be warm, as predicted by the weather already this morning, and I'm going to be in this building which has no air conditioning. I don't know if I'm going to have access to a fan on my desk, probably not. So I'm going to be in a stuffy room. I don't know how big the room is. I'm hoping it's a big room with high ceilings and big windows, but chances are it won't be, because it's an old building and there'll be no air conditioning, so I expect a lot of sweat. So the foundation will definitely get tested on the sweat front and heat and oil. Yeah, that coverage is much better using the beauty blender. Right, so that's what I'll be doing in the future. I'll supply this with a beauty blender in the future, so that looks much better. And as you can see, it's drying down to a semi-matte finish. The colour is fantastic. I don't know if you can see on my chest. The colour is a really good match, so I'm very happy with that. Right, I'm going to do the rest of my makeup now. Let's do a time check on the foundation. Right, so time now is 10 to 9. So that's the time of my foundation application. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup now. I'll probably zoom through this quite fast, so I'll come back to you at the end. Okay, see you in a bit. finished look. Makeup is all done. Do I look alright? Do I look presentable? Okay, so the intention is to come back at the end of the day and to give you my final thoughts of the foundation. So when I come back at the end of the day, I'll give my final thoughts on how this foundation performed, and I'll be marking it out of my TOPS system. Okay, so this is the final look and how the finished face looks at the moment. Okay. So have a good day, and I will see you at the end of the day. Take care. Bye. Good evening and welcome back. It's been a fairly long day with rather warm weather. Just to remind you, living in England, we're not a country that's used to air conditioning. So I've been stuck in a building for most of the day with no air conditioning, a windowless room, and it's just been hot, 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 hot. We had frequent breaks throughout the day, which was fine, so we could go out and get some air, but blimey, it was hot today. So the main reason why you have joined me here is to hear my final thoughts and review of the foundation I was testing all day today, and that was by TWOK London Cosmetics, and it's their Flawless Filter Foundation for women of colour, which has been fantastic. So I've been wearing this colour 160. Hopefully you saw my earlier first impression review of the foundation, but now it's just to let you know how I've got on today. So the time now is, okay, it's 20 to 6. So I've been wearing the foundation for just under 9 hours. Yeah, it's about 8.5 hours, 8 hours 45 minutes. So I've been wearing it for, I've given it a decent test today. Weather has been quite warm, so it was about 26 degrees down here in Sussex. Bright sunny day, no air conditioning as I said, and you know, there was a lot of sweating going on. One thing I should say is that I met up with people who I haven't seen for a very long time. So you know what you do when you meet people who you haven't seen for a long time. You give them hugs and kisses, and I did go in for a kiss on a couple of the people, and I'll let you know what happened. So when I give my review, I do rate the foundations on a few things. So I've got a system called TOPS. And TOPS stands for T is for transfer, which I'll be talking about in a minute. O is for oil control. P is for performance, so whether the foundation melted, faded or separated. The second P is for price. How does the price compare, and do I think it's good value? And S is for the shade selection. So let me do the first one, which is transfer. Right, so as I've said, I've met some people today who I haven't seen for quite a while, and the first person I went in for, it was a man, and he was wearing a light blue dress shirt. So I went in for that kiss, the side to side kiss, and guess what? And the man was slightly taller than me, so guess what happened? When I went in for the kiss, that lovely brown foundation smudged all over his lovely top shirt. Embarrassed, what can I say? Thankfully the guy's cool, you know. He was like, he just laughed it off. He's an ex-Londoner. He's used to sort of mixing with black women. No big issues at all. He just laughed it off. Thankfully, he says, yes, don't worry, I've got stain remover. That was it. But it was embarrassing. So that's how I'm going to grade the foundation when it comes to transfer control. It wasn't great because it transferred on his shirt. So I think for transfer, let's have a look at the mirror before I just give the final grade to see how much of the foundation has actually faded off my face. Right, so yeah, you can see where I went in for the kiss. You can see how the foundation has faded along here on my face. So I don't know if it's collected along my face here, or if that's just what's faded and collected on my face, but this is the side where the impact on the man's shirt occurred. So yeah, nothing on this side at all. So it was this side that I went in for the kiss. So I think for transfer, out of 10, I'm going to give this a 5 because it definitely smudged on his shirt. So transfer resistant, this foundation is not. Okay, so the next is oil control. Now, as you know, I am a very oily person. When I say oily, I'm not talking about those people who get a little bit of oil break out on their nose and on a little bit of their forehead there. I'm talking about full-on oil all over my face here, right? So that's what normally happens. Oil normally breaks out on me within 2 hours. Easy, no issues, and it's not T-zone, it's all over. So today I have sweated and I've had oil, and you can see that I have got oil on my face, but after 8.5 hours it's not as bad as you would expect, because it literally is on my forehead. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, that looks actually normal on there. There's a little bit of fading up there, but it's not too bad. The oil is particularly along my nose and this area here, along my upper cheek area here. That's where I'm seeing mainly most of the oil. So you can see my oily nose there, upper lip, but yeah, down here not too bad. So it literally is just this area here, and my skin hasn't changed. I'm still a very oily person. My skin's not going to change in a week since I've done a foundation review. So I think for oil control, I think this foundation has done remarkably well, considering the weather as well, because I said it was about 26 degrees centigrade down here. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I will put it down below. But I think this foundation has done pretty well. I mean, it's one of the best performing foundations I've ever reviewed. So I've given it a good on test today. So I'm going to give this out of 10. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. If you don't agree with my scoring here, please let me know down below. But I think for oil control, I'm giving this a 9. Right, the first P, performance. So performance means, does the foundation fade, separate or melt on my skin? So again, when I do my oil control, I usually use a blotting sheet just to see what the oil is going to be like. So I'm going to do that in a minute. So I'm going to use a blotting sheet, but let me just do the performance first. So on the performance, little bit of fading along here, as I said, on my cheeks and on my forehead. So at the moment I am thinking about an 8, and I can see a little bit of fading underneath my eyes as well. So I'm going to say at the moment I'm thinking about 8 for performance, but I'm just going to use the blotting sheet just to see what comes off the sheet. So this is sheet number 1, and again, for those of you who have watched my videos before, you know that the best performing foundations tend to only use maybe 2 to 3 sheets of this, and the worst performing foundations tend to use 4 to 5 sheets of this. Okay, and you know, when they're bad, they are completely soaked with oil, and they'll have foundation on there as well. So let's do this. So first, check up here. Well, you can see that's not too bad already, so that's there. Okay, so there we go. So that's sheet 1. Sheet 2. Right, to be honest, I think I only need to use these 2 sheets. 2 sheets. So I think my score of 9 for oil control is justified there. It only used 2 sheets of the blotting sheets, and for performance, using the blotting sheets is just it shows more clearly where the fading has occurred, which has been on my forehead up here, and along my cheek along here, and a little bit along this cheek here. So I'm going to stick with my score of 8 for performance. Next is the price. Now I paid £19.98 for the delivery of the foundation, and that was including packaging. I actually don't know if that's the price it's going to be retailed at, or if it's going to be lower plus postage and packaging. I don't know, but at the moment what I paid was just under £20, which I probably think is about, what, $23 in America. It's going to be about that, isn't it? I think under £20 for this high quality foundation, go and buy this. I think is pretty excellent in comparison to foundations like Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is, how much is that, £30 roughly. You've got the Clinique Silk Balance, that's £23. You've got things like the Lancome Teint Idol 24-hour ultra wear, that's what, £32 for that. So most foundations that give this kind of performance, they're normally in the £30 range, and this is, well, it's £20, so it's a good £10 less, a third less. So I think for price, and again it really does depend on what the foundation retails for properly when it is out there. But at the moment it's under £20, so I'm saying price, I am thinking a good 9.5 out of 10. I mean, cheap for me would be under £10. A score of 10 will be under £10, and there's not many foundations that come into that thing. So I'm thinking 9.5 at the moment for price. So this is pretty good. My last score is for S, which is for shade selection. Now, usually when I'm looking at shade selection, I'm comparing the foundations right across the whole spectrum. So from the very fair, palest of the pale, to the deepest of the deep. This foundation is literally specifically for women of colour or people of colour, and at the moment they've got 5 shades just for people of colour. So I'd say it goes from light skinned ethnic, so maybe someone of, I don't know, so maybe sort of biracial, maybe that kind of light skin, the lighter skin tones you can get in biracial people, and it's going to go up to very deep skinned, as in Lupita kind of skin tone dark. So at the moment the dark, I think I'm going to put a clip in of what the shades are currently. The first 5 shades. Actually, I don't know what the shades are they've got available. My shade was 160, and that is not the darkest. There's 2 more shades after mine, so it's 170 and 180. I don't know which of the 5 shades are actually available at the moment, but I know the deeper shade actually does go up to a lot deeper. So I think shade selection right now is going to be up to 7 for deep skinned, but at the moment it's 5. So I think shade selection at the moment, I'm going to give this an 8.5. So I think that's pretty good, don't you? For a foundation that's just launched on the market. It's performing really well. Good shade selection, good price, fantastic oil control. Transfer, not so good. So what's my score out of 50? You're going to have to forgive me here because I can't add. So I said for transfer I gave it 5. For oil control I gave it 9, so that's 14. For performance I gave it 8, so that's 22. For price I gave it 9. Did I say 9 or 9.5? So what am I on? I've forgotten already. 24, 39, and for shade selection I'm going to give it an 8. So you know I can't add. I'll put the final score down below because I so can't add. But I think this foundation has performed and is an absolutely fantastic product. I really wish that they hurry up and do a full-on launch so it's more easily available. At the moment I think you just have to contact them via the Instagram or via Facebook, but if you can get hold of this foundation, do so. And I think they seem to be quite happy to answer any questions. So anybody who wants to have this shipped overseas, you know, just send them a message and see what they say. But I really want them to launch this more widely. This is a fantastic foundation. There's a market out there for foundations like this. I know a lot of these big brands say that there isn't any market for people to buy these foundations. They say dark skinned people don't buy foundations. We do if you supply it. All you have to do is supply it. So, and these people they're out there and they're making it perfect colour, perfect finish, perfect performance. I'm extremely happy with this foundation. So I would seriously double recommend it if you can get hold of it. Okay, so that's it. That's my review. Any comments you have, please let me know in the discussion down below. You know, get those comments in and we can have a good healthy debate about the foundation. And you know, any questions, I'll put it to the company or ask the company direct. I'll put their contact details in my description box down below. Don't worry about that. But please, let me know what you think. What did you think about this foundation? Is this something you're going to buy? I mean, go and buy my recommendation. I'll say definitely buy this foundation. But thank you for watching. If you haven't given me a like as yet, what are you waiting for? Come on, give me that like down below. You know it's going to be useful, and it's useful and encouraging for me. And if you haven't subscribed, come on. Come on, I'm out here doing this for you. So please subscribe down below. If you press the little bell next to the subscribe button, that will notify you when I do my next upload. Okay, take care and thank you for watching. Bye.